Let me ask you a simple question. How many times this week did you open the fridge, grab yesterday's leftovers, pop them into the microwave and reheat them without thinking twice? Probably more than once, right? We've all been there. It feels like the smart thing to do, saving time, saving money, and not letting food go to waste. But here's the chilling truth. Some of the most common foods we eat every single day can actually become toxic when reheated. And worse, they may quietly contribute to long-term health risks like cancer, memory loss, or even dementia. Now, I'm not here to make you fear food. The goal isn't panic, it's knowledge. Because once you know which foods are risky and how to handle them properly, you can still enjoy your meals, protect your health, and maybe even impress your friends with food safety, wisdom they've never heard before. So today we are going to dive into 5 common foods that change character when reheated. Foods that start out healthy, nourishing, and delicious, but if treated the wrong way can turn into something your body won't thank you for. And to keep things interesting, I'm not going to reveal the food names straight away. Instead, I'll describe them with hints. A leafy green favorite, a fluffy, starchy side, a protein-packed breakfast staple, so you can guess along as we go. Keep watching until the end because number 3 in particular shocks almost everyone who hears about it. Why reheating can be risky. Before we uncover the 5 foods, let's pause for a moment. Why is reheating even a problem in the first place? After all, humans have been eating leftovers for centuries, right? When food's rich in certain nutrients like nitrates, proteins or starches are cooked, cooled, and then reheated, their molecular structure can shift. Sometimes, harmless nutrients get transformed into nitrosamines, or oxidized compound substances linked in studies to cancer, oxidative stress, or damage to brain cells. Some foods, especially starchy or protein-heavy ones, can harbor bacteria like Bacillus cereus or Salmonella. Cooking kills most of them, but spores or toxins can survive. If the food sits out too long, bacteria multiply. Reheating may kill some bacteria, but it doesn't always destroy the toxins they left behind, meaning your food can look, smell, and taste fine, but still carry risks. Doctors emphasize this again and again. It's not about scaring you away from leftovers. It's about handling them with precision. Cool, quickly store, safely, reheat only once. These rules may sound simple, but ignoring them is where problems creep in. Now let's get into the 5 hidden culprits in your fridge. Number 1. The green leafy favorite. This one is a nutrition superstar. You'll find it in salads, smoothies, and stir-fries. Doctors praise it for being loaded with iron, calcium, and vitamins. And it's rich in nitrates, which your body normally loves. Nitrates help widen blood vessels and support heart health. But here's the catch: when this leafy favorite is cooked, stored, and then reheated again, those natural nitrates can transform into nitrites. And in certain conditions, nitrites can form nitrosamines, compounds that research has linked to a higher cancer risk. Now, eating a serving reheated once won't suddenly give you cancer. The real danger is when people repeatedly reheat large batches, especially after the food sat at room temperature for hours before refrigeration. Babies and toddlers are at even higher risk because their bodies are more sensitive to nitrate and nitrite changes. Imagine this: you sauté a big batch for dinner, leave the pan on the stove during a family chat, then stick it in the fridge. The next day, you reheat it for lunch. Later, you warm it again for dinner. That double reheating cycle is where chemistry shifts in ways you don't want inside your body. The safe solution: cook only what you need. Or if you do batch cook, cool it fast, store it in shallow containers, and either eat it cold the next day or warm it gently just once. Treat this leafy favorite like the delicate food. It is not a leftover workhorse. Number 2. The fluffy, starchy side everyone loves. Soft, fluffy, and perfect, next to curries, soups, or grilled dishes. You'll find this comfort food in almost every household worldwide. But here's its dark side. It's a breeding ground for Bacillus cereus, a type of bacteria that loves starchy environments. When freshly cooked, this side dish is harmless. But if it sits out too long in the danger zone between 40 DGF and 140 degrees or Dexiter 60 degrees C, bacteria can multiply. Worse, they can produce heat-stable toxins that don't break down even when you reheat. That's right, microwaving. It won't save you. Here's the typical scene: a big pot at a family gathering, sitting warm on the counter while everyone eats in waves. Hours later, it's shoved into the fridge. The next day, someone reheats a bowl and ends up clutching their stomach a few hours later. That's not random bad luck, it's food safety negligence. How do you avoid it? Simple. Portion leftovers into shallow containers so they cool quickly. Refrigerate within 2 hours, or within 1 hour if your kitchen is hot. When you do reheat, stir well to avoid cold spots and make sure it's steaming hot all the way through. And here's a pro tip: enjoy it cold in a salad, with herbs and veggies. Not only is that safer, but cooling and eating it cold can also form resistant starch, which acts like fiber and feeds your gut bacteria. Number 3, the protein-packed breakfast staple. Morning meals wouldn't be the same without this food. Scrambled, fried, boiled. It's the king of protein. But doctors warn reheating it can change the very proteins that make it so healthy. When cooked fresh, it delivers amino acids your body uses for muscle hormones and brain chemicals. But when reheated, especially in the microwave, those proteins can denature and oxidize, sometimes producing compounds that are harder to digest. The flavor changes too. Ever notice that strange sulfur smell when reheating? That's not your imagination. That's chemistry happening. The bigger concern is for kids. Pediatricians often advise parents not to reheat this breakfast staple for infants or toddlers because their digestive systems may be more sensitive to the chemical changes. So what's the alternative? Keep them cold. Hard-boiled versions taste great sliced into salads or sandwiches straight from the fridge. Or if you scramble or fry, make just enough for one sitting. It's a food best enjoyed fresh, not reheated. Number 4, the family favorite dinner protein. A golden, juicy roast in the center of the table. This protein is lean, hearty, and packed with nutrients. But here's what most people don't realize: reheating it multiple times can be dangerous. First, if stored improperly, it's a playground for bacteria, like Clostridium perfringens or Salmonella. And unlike some bacteria, these don't always get wiped out if the meat is reheated unevenly. Microwaves in particular heat food unevenly, leaving lukewarm pockets where bacteria survive. Second, repeated reheating breaks down the protein and fat, creating oxidized byproducts. Over time, these compounds can stress your cells, increase inflammation, and potentially contribute to long-term Risks like heart problems or memory decline. Think about it. You roast a big portion on Sunday, eat half, then stick the rest in the fridge. Monday, you slice some off and reheat. Tuesday, you do it again. By Wednesday, that same meat has been reheated 3 times. Each round, its nutritional value drops while risks rise. The safe rule: cook once, reheat once. Slice the meat into single servings and store them separately. When you want one reheat, just that portion to 100 numbers seat, brandtrudders sands, halif, ifader zeta peitverders, f, or skip reheating altogether and enjoy cold slices in sandwiches, wraps, or salads. Number 5, the simple pantry staple with a hidden twist. This last one surprises many people because it seems so harmless. It's smooth, creamy, and forms the base of soups, sauces, and side dishes everywhere. But here's the twist. When stored and reheated multiple times, its starches crystallize and break down into compounds that may irritate your gut, like our earlier starchy food. This staple is also vulnerable to bacterial growth if left out too long. And here's the scary part: some of the toxins produced by bacteria in this food are heat stable. That means reheating won't protect you. You could be spooning toxins straight into your system without realizing it. Researchers warn that chronic exposure to these reheated starch changes may contribute to inflammation. Over years, inflammation is one of the pathways linked to diseases, like cancer or dementia. Again, it's not about one serving. It's about repeated careless habits over a lifetime. The smart solution: cook it fresh when possible. If you do make a large pot portion and freeze it immediately, that way each serving is reheated only once. And if you notice a batch has already been reheated 2 or 3 times, let it go. Your health is worth more than a bowl of questionable leftovers. So there you have it. 5 common foods that seem safe but can become risky when reheated. A leafy green that flips its nitrates. A fluffy starch that harbors bacteria. A breakfast protein that oxidizes. A dinner roast that degrades with each reheat. And a creamy staple that quietly shifts under repeated heat. The lesson isn't to fear food, it's to respect it. Leftovers can be safe and delicious if you follow these golden rules. Cool quickly. Don't let food sit out for hours. Refrigerate within 2 hours or 1 hour in hot conditions. Store smart use shallow containers so food cools evenly. Reheat once only. Reheat the portion you'll eat. Avoid reheating the same batch over and over. Heat thoroughly. Aim for 165 Cunsit. 70-40 T. Say heat 40. Stir midway if using a microwave. Know when to toss if something smells off, looks off, or has been reheated multiple times. Don't risk it. Doctors warn about reheated foods not because they want you to panic, but because they've seen what happens when people ignore these simple guidelines. Food poisoning, gut problems, chronic inflammation. It all adds up. But the good news is, once you know the risks, the solutions are easy. The truth is, your kitchen can either be your best friend or your silent enemy. The same foods that fuel your health can also backfire if you don't handle them wisely. But with a little knowledge and a few safe habits, you can keep enjoying your favorites without fear. So the next time you open your fridge and reach for last night's dinner, remember what you learned today. Some foods are fine reheated. Others, like the 5 we talked about, deserve extra care. Cook what you need. Store it right. Heat it once. And when in doubt, throw it out. Your body, Your brain and your future self will thank you. If you found this video helpful, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with friends and family. Hit the like button, subscribe for more health-saving tips, and let me know in the comments. Which of these 5 foods surprised you the most? Stay safe, stay smart, and I'll see you in the next video.